being part of the symposium. Looking forward to you telling us about neutrality and mediation. But Gilbert, the process being, you'll tell us a little bit about yourself, then I'll talk a little bit about how to get information. And then, of course, Mandy is now the what do you call you, like Mandy? Now she's like regular on each of them. She's found this whole thing so interesting that she wants to be part of all sessions. So Mandy, you want to say hi to Gilbert?
Hi.
Hi, Mandy.
Gilbert.
Hi.
Gilbert,
So,
I am allowed to say only hi, Gilbert.
Yes.
Yes.
Nothing more than that. She can't say
because I am very happy saying much more than hi, and I forget it's your.
It's his show. It's his show.
I'm
yes.
very happy to hear your ideas. Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. So Gilbert, please a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. First, I want to apologize because English is not my mother language, so I'm a little bit slow in English, but maybe slowness is also okay, so we can speak slow and use less words. I'm also a little bit upset because I'm not so well prepared. I had some thoughts about my way to practice mediation, what I'm doing since more than 20 years, and also about neutrality. I wanted to have a discussion on this. So, but maybe I present myself very briefly where I'm working. So I'm situated at Luxembourg in the center of Europe. So we are a very small country, but we are on the crossing of Central Europe, and our neighbor countries are Germany and France and Belgium, so that we are influenced from every side. So from the German culture, from the French culture, and this is for us always a bigger chance, but also a bigger challenge because we look on several sides, and our practice in mediation is influenced not only by the French way or the French culture on mediation, but also on the German ones and so on. So I had the chance to make a master studied for a master in mediation in Switzerland, and this was a very international European master setting, and there have been people from all over all countries. It was linked also to Canada and so on. So that was a very nice opportunity for me to touch a lot of different approaches in mediation. And from all these different approaches, I cooked a little bit my own soup, as I can say. And because our issue now is neutrality, I wanted to say something very specific now to the neutrality in mediation. So I'm provoking a little bit because I don't use the word neutral. Neutrality is for us and also my colleagues here, we are not we say that neutrality is something which sounds so detached and so less involved that a mediator is not neutral. You know, when you hear the word neutral and you think of the gearbox of a car, is that the neutral position is something where nothing moves. So you are not in the process when you are neutral. So we want to replace the word neutral by multi-partiality, so that we can assure to our clients that we are there for them. And when you have now, I take the simplest model, Anna and Ben in a mediation. I am there for Anna. I take also part for Anna, and I am there for Ben. So this is what we understand in multi-partiality. So it's even not impartial, because also this word is so, how can I say, it's a little bit like neutral. So what we prefer to say to our parties, to our clients, is that we are multi-partial, and they have a right to check about this. So if they don't feel it, they can live and they can make a remark on, for the moment, I'm losing the feeling that you are multi-partial, as an indicator. We are convinced that we are mediating the way we are thinking. So what is important for us is also to be very aware of what are our thoughts. So, maybe you know this from mindfulness trainings. Can you observe yourself, what is going on for the moment in yourself? Also, when you are in a position as a mediator, observing not only the parties, but also observing myself, what is going on in myself, with a little detachment, with a little, how can I say, a little distance, just to, how can we say, just to be there as another human being with a resonance box. And all what is happening then in this situation or in that room is also important for us. So maybe I may make a little break or a comma, just to check with you if you are following me, because I don't want, because that's another tool from us. We don't want to be too long in speaking out, because active speaking and active listening is something which has very fine limits by our neurological system. So my practice is also to take very good care of what are the conditions in which we are operating, also physically, because listening and speaking is something which is very determined also by the surround conditions, and always being very aware of, did you get me or did you not get me, or can you say it in other words, and so on.
Perfect.
So maybe I let you react a little bit on this.
No, I think, Gilbert, the direction that you've taken it is exactly what has come up. I don't want to say that, look, I don't want to say that this is the direction I want to take it, because that won't be fair on my side right now. But this is actually the direction which is going, and a lot of people have already spoken about it, and the fact that come in as a human being, coming as a person, those aspects are important. It's not that you are just a machine there, you are a person with, you bring in a lot there. So definitely. But what I'm going to do is, Gilbert, I need to just talk about the symposium, because that, I mean,
yes,
just to say, this is what we are doing. So this is the International Symposium on Neutrality and Mediation.
Yes.
And of course, I mean, this quote is something, this can also be, of course, discussed. Mandy had discussed it in her session on that. So this can be, obviously, I'm not saying that this is it, but this is what it started from, that if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If an elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse and you say that you're neutral, the mouse will not appreciate your neutrality. So this kind of takes the discussion into, after that, whatever direction it goes, it's perfectly all right. So Bernie Mayor's session, I don't know whether you saw that, Gilbert, but that was obviously really nice. And tomorrow, closing address, please drop in for that. So this is about it. Otherwise, I have to put up my website for just a minute, just a minute. Won't take too much of your time on that. I need to put it up out there, Gilbert, because finally it all comes down to people finding information. So this time, I want people to know. So this was the last symposium, and all social media connections. So this is mediatorvikram.com. So that's where you find it. And connections, of course, the World Mediation Circle, we've already spoken about that. So
Yeah, yeah.
the Luxembourg Mediation Circle, we'll set that up. Mandy, we're talking about the Zakynthos Mediation Circle and things like that. So we've spoken about it, about the web of mediation circles in every community. So I won't take into that, of course, support. Here, what I did was I put down various things and ways you can stay in touch, because social media also has its algorithm. It doesn't show all the posts to everyone. So we have to find a way. There is one place that people can find information. So there is one newsletter that I have on LinkedIn. You can subscribe to that and you can get some information from there. And otherwise, on LinkedIn, on the profile, you have a bell icon. You can press that. You can get to know the posts. So just make life a little easier for me. You can follow the Mediator Vikram hashtag, so you can see whatever I put out. I put that hashtag. So you have the YouTube channel and everything. So please, I won't take more time on this. So Gilbert, I think this is perfectly the direction that you were going. Is what I don't know whether you saw other sessions. I mean, yesterday we had very nice sessions with Greg from Australia. There was Herman, he's in Netherlands, and then we had Milan Slama in the morning yesterday. All of them were really nice. Must watch them. I mean, and then of course we had the evening sessions. So yes, Gilbert, please.
Yes, okay. I didn't have the time to look in all the other sessions. But for me, what is interesting for me is to have a worldwide discussion on some principles. So I just want to talk about my essentials, how I live my practice in mediation. So I think we don't have to make so much descriptions on the contents, but maybe we can exchange more on how we prepare ourselves when we go in the situation of mediating, and what we do in preparation, and also what skills or what tools we have in our hands when it becomes difficult. And I must say that from all these different approaches I saw in my trainings, I'm more close to the transformative approach. I think you know this. It's represented by Gary Friedman and others. So. We start from the attitude that the experts of the solution are on the side of the mediators. They are the experts, and we are those who help them to find this out. So this is something which goes a little bit in the direction that, roughly said, we can say that the less we talk, the better they are working on their coming on in the conflict resolution. And that is also the case when we focus our energy on just giving reflection of what is happening. So the main part is always the active listening and the reflecting. But the reflecting cannot happen under a complete neutrality. So in the example of Helen, where she said, "Oh, the mediator was saying something about his non-verbal acting," I guess that is, for us, it's very important to have this, because even when I'm reflecting what I've just heard from one of the parties, I make a complete interpretation, and this will not be neutral in that way, but I can take part. I can take care of the person I just listened, and I will do the same with the other side. And this is what we underline as our multi-partiality. But the profit for the clients is that for one time, at first, they are heard by somebody else who is not in the conflict. They are heard, and their words, that what they are telling, describing their story, is repeated by somebody else. Not the conflict partner, but somebody else. And I think this makes a very, very big difference to push on this healing process. Because the attitude also can be that indeed a conflict heals by itself. It's like a little disease, like a disease. It heals by itself. And in mediation, we give it a push on this. And then we take care, we are present. Presence is one of the tools. Just being there, being with the people, and comforting also the people, because we are those who guarantee a violent-free possibility to communicate. And violent-free, I mean also psychologically violent-free, so that nobody puts pressure on the other side, and with all the rules we know.
Yep. Perfect. So Mandy definitely has something to ask you. Mandy, please. Gilbert wants to talk about it. He's saying that engage in conversation with me. And this is the time when Mandy will have hesitation. She only likes it.
Yeah, she has hesitation. So
no, she has had no hesitation. I'm telling you, she has no hesitation. She wants to talk to you about it. Yeah. But okay, but we can let, yeah.
What I understood, I wanted to check if I understood well, to be equally with both sides, careful and close to them and present is a kind of, is the neutrality, in your opinion?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
if you are for both the elephant and the mouse,
yes,
equally careful, this is neutrality.
Mm-hmm. So let's take the example when I have Anna and Ben. And when I'm addressing myself to Anna, and I'm listening the story of Anna, and I'm reflecting with her what I hear from her story, from that moment on, I'm in the perspective of Ben, I am turned to Anna. So even my turning and listening to the other side is something where I lose the middle. You know what I mean? And I give confiance. I trust Ben that he can deal with this for one moment, because I assure him that I'm also there for him. So when I turn then to Ben, and I make the same, and I listen to his story, and I reflect what he is saying, I'm rebalancing, and I'm there for them too, for both. And this makes my quasi-neutrality. But I would never call neutrality, because, well, as I explained, it's a word which sounds detached and not involved. I'm involving in Anna, and I'm involving in the story of Ben. I'm not looking for the truth, because there is no truth. I have totally respect of, she lives this issue in her way, and he lives this issue in his way, and it has a right to have a very different living on this. This is what is so very human, and that is maybe a certain reality.
So to be equally for both parties involved is a kind of neutrality.
Yes.
And what I wanted to ask is, and also not looking for the truth is a neutrality. And I wanted to understand something more. When, after you listen Anna, when you listen to Ben, do you delete what Anna said? Are you a white paper when you listen to each one of them? Or if after listening to Anna, you have her written on your paper?
Yes.
Inside, I mean.
I understand your question. It is very interesting because when I first listened to Anna, I am already touched. My paper is not white, and that's very clear. I cannot hide it because I'm very, for me it's very important to be authentic. In English, it's authentic.
Yep.
Not to hide anything, because when we in mediation situations have to lose our authenticity, it will be remarked by the other side, and then it becomes difficult. So my first goal is to be very present, authentic. So it's normal. The one who starts speaking at first is another situation, because the second one knows that I already listened to Anna. Ben knows this. But the only way to handle this is, it's clear somebody has to begin. That's a very natural situation. And maybe, or often, I just say, just get an agreement who wants to start. But I think we can do all this, that it has no influence. Even when Ben speaks at second, I can say to him, just speak out as you would be the first one to speak out. And then he switches in this mood. I even can say, and don't react on this, what you just heard. But that depends on the situation. Sometimes Ben is mature enough to understand it directly, and sometimes we have to help a little bit. But for me, only then neutrality gets installed. Neutrality is not a definition. Neutrality is something what you have to live, to develop, that you can feel that, okay, this guy who calls himself a mediator is there for her, but also for me. And then, step by step, I will construct my neutrality. And this is more convincing that I put a mask on as, oh, I'm completely neutral. My eye contact is exactly the same with you, and then we are getting a machine. And I don't believe in this. So I go even more far in things that I'm even doing role plays in when I'm reflecting somebody. And this comes sometimes when they are speaking, when the conflict is about a person who is not there. We can invite that person, for example. And when the conflict turns, you have often the situation in family mediations that it's all about a child or some children. And then we can we can work in the way that also the representation of this child or children are very present in our process of the mediation. Like I'm putting myself in the role of Anna and Ben has a son, and let's say it's Tom, and he's 15 years old. And I put myself a little bit in this role. When I would be Tom, I would say this or that, or what I just feel as Tom is that my parents are sometimes in very different opinions about my education, but for me, it's not so much a problem. Maybe that is a possibility, but that is just an example.
The good part, Gilbert, now is that when you're doing mediations online, you're looking at all of them at the same time. So at least one aspect, so everyone is now at this on the same level, no difference in terms of looking at them. So
yes, it's a very good remark. I did a lot of online mediations too, but what is interesting in mediation for me is asking about emotions, feelings, moods, and let them speak out how they are doing. How are you for the moment? How is it going? Because people who can tell their story, also about their emotions, they give their whole system the opportunity to make a switch on what we in neurologically speaking would say they can reuse their neurocortex. So by speaking out my feelings, even my rage or my anger, I get more rational again because I spoke it out. When I don't speak it out, it will trigger me in my thoughts and I'm thinking not clearly. In mediation, we need people who can clearly think about issues, about rational solutions. So we first take care of what is the emotional situation here, how do you feel? And when there are a lot of feelings like anger or sadness or depressive feelings, we always try to relink them. Every emotion is an indicator of a need, of a besoin, and what somebody needs. Okay.
But only thing, Gilbert, is that when you were talking about yourself, you did not tell us about your motorbike riding around Luxembourg and all. I think those are the pictures you should have showed us. The beautiful places that you go to on your motorbike.
Yes, but I cannot make a relation now to what I say.
Maybe you can. I'm telling you, I mean, Helen came up with photography and mediation. I don't know. I'll send the link to her presentation that it's for someone else. But maybe something comes out from there also. Do you think something comes out from?
I also ride a bike.
Yeah.
Motorbike. Yeah.
So, Mandy, as you are from Greece, I did a very big bike tour with my friends from Luxembourg to Greece. And I also have my wife and I, we have a house in Greece, on the island of Chios. Maybe you know Chios.
Yeah. So nice.
And my challenge was I want to go there with my motorbike. And I asked some friends to come with me. And that was a journey about 3 weeks through the Balkan, the Balkan countries. That was very nice.
So these are the interesting things that we need to hear. Neutrality, we can keep discussing. I think this motorbike ride seems to be the more interesting part.
Yeah, and you know something, it's a very nice tool to neutralize yourself riding.
Yes.
It's very, very helpful for cleaning your mind and being present. And it's a very useful tool for me. It helps me so much.
Yeah. It's yes, it's not. It's a little bit dangerous. You have also to be aware of motor. You are the weakest part on the traffic because you have only two wheels.
That's why you are so present.
Yeah, but then when you are riding on a motorbike, your whole system is in function. And you know, at my age, it keeps you young, motorbiking, because you have to be very good informed. You have to sleep good. You have to eat good food. You have to keep yourself informed to do 300-400 kilometers, and then you can enjoy them. And yeah, it's a very nice thing, and it's also the adventure being on the road, because on a motorbike you live what you are going through. You see the landscape, you are in the nature, you have all this you are, it's a different kind of moving which you cannot feel in a car. Sometimes I also can enjoy going in a car, but motorbiking is something very different.
So,
Yes.
are we going to create an analogy there? I'm just thinking, are we going to be looking at how mediation and motorbike riding, what are the connections? Because Mandy will do that. Mandy likes doing this. She'll do this exercise and then we'll have a discussion on this aspect. Yeah. So, Gilbert, I stopped you.
I have a question for Gilbert, if
Yes.
I have this beautiful idea you had about the child. I also feel when there is family conflict, I feel that I'm mediating for the child. And now you talk about that. I realized something, and I wanted to your opinion to check. Maybe if we are, because the child, even if it's closer from one or the other parent, he loves both of them, and both of them are very important. So maybe if a child is neutral in that, if we see it like that, maybe this could help us being neutral. What the children of the persons in the participants would like us to do for both their parents.
Yeah.
Even if they are not parents, if they are partners. And the second question is that.
But excuse me, Mandy, what is the question now?
That's the problem thing with Mandy.
If we could be the child, I said,
yes.
That was if I didn't make it clear. If we could be the child as mediators, the child in the conflict.
Yes. What we can do is we can feel in. So, and we can even present it to the both persons, parties who are present to us, the mother and the father, for example. So you can do it with different techniques. You can leave a chair, an empty chair there. And you can do it just by open questions like, what would your son Tom say about this? And then what you explore is not the real son, but what you explore and what they can describe is how they interpret it. So it's always an interpretation, but in comparing them, the mother and the father, you can find out a lot of interesting new sides, new perspectives. You see a little bit how I mean it. It's not so clear for you.
It is, but I was not thinking only of family conflicts when I asked if we could feel like a child. As mediators, we feel
yes.
That feeling, would that bring us closer to the neutrality?
Yes, that's a very interesting idea also, that we can use our inner child. You know, we all have an inner child, and the parties have one, and we also. And when our inner child gets upset or sad or maybe even a little bit happy or whatever is the reaction of my inner child, I can use it. I can even share it with my clients, but with a certain serenity. But we can share it, yes. This could be very interesting.
Isn't it the child inside the participants that has
Yes.
the pain in the conflict?
Yes. They can open then their inner child as well, and just speaking about that pain. And all pain which is spoken out is less pain. So
and you said that it was my second question, that when you said that to let them speak, if we don't, if somebody doesn't speak, he listens all the time to his thoughts, so he can't listen to the others also.
Yes. Maybe we go, yes, when somebody does not speak, what does it do to me as a mediator? Because maybe I want her or him to speak, but then I can very naively ask him or her, I just see that you do not want to speak. And maybe the recognition of this and the acceptance of this can open another door or a new door to get another contact. Because people are very different on this level of speaking out. You have always people who are more calm, who do not want to speak so much, even zero. And then a very open question can be, you just say nothing because ... and maybe you get an answer. But it's also a matter of respecting it, when somebody does not want to speak. Okay?
Yes, Mandy, does that answer your question?
Will you come to Zakynthos? And when
Excuse
you come
me?
back to Greece?
She's from an island called Zakynthos in Greece. So
I don't know this island. Where is it exactly in the shape of
the Ionian Sea? You are in
yes.
the Aegean. We are in the other side of Greece.
That's the complete other side. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what has happened is, Gilbert, what has happened is that basically she's part of the tourism department of Zakynthos. I did not know that. I thought she was a mediator who wants to talk about mediation. Only thing she talks about is the island, and she's promoting the island. That's all she's doing. Next time I'm going to get it sponsored by the Zakynthos Tourism Board. That's what's going to happen.
You do that.
So Gilbert,
you come often to Greece?
Yes, every year. Always in summer. Yes, in summer.
I meet you.
In summer, in summer when everybody in Greece is on holidays in August. Okay, so we are there, and we have a lot of friends, and not only Greeks but also Italians, and they have houses there. They live there. They choose after retirement to stay in Greece.
Perfect. So I will come to Chios and meet you and your wife. Yes. And you are welcome to Zakynthos also.
Okay, well noticed. Thank you very much.
What we'll have is we'll do a retreat, a mediation retreat or mediators retreat in Greece in summer.
That is a very good idea.
We have this idea.
Maybe we can.
Yes.
Maybe we can organize a meeting of mediators, a training like a week, 5 days.
Yeah.
I could be you could be, and I could be one of the trainers, and we invite them to a mediation training. It's a very nice idea.
We won't call it training. We'll call it just a retreat. So that just to share
Or
ideas.
a retreat, yes.
There is actually, the thing is that there was Greg Rooney from Australia. He actually has a week-long retreat every year in Tuscany. So he has mediators from around the world who go there. And I was just talking to him, but my concept has always been that how can I take this to a larger number of people? So that retreat that we do will be live broadcasts on YouTube. Everything has to be out there for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah.
Yes, it could be mediation and holidays.
Yeah. Because the idea that
But
Gilbert,
we have to make to stop our life and think it in another way when we mediate. So holidays are this interruption.
no, I think this is something we definitely plan this out, because the concept that Mandy had was that there should be actually be a space where mediations are happening, plus people are part of a much nicer environment, and in that whole complex you have lots of things happening. There's yoga, there is meditation, there is other holistic methods of healing happening, and mediation happens in the same space. So it's a healing of the mind, body, and soul. Yes, okay. Mandy, am I putting? So that's the idea. These are the better ideas that we have in relation to promoting mediation and mediators also. So Gilbert, that's the kind of plans that we have to put together, and let's take it.
I just can say I'm interested. Just keep me informed.
Yeah, so we identify a space. Let Mandy will identify something in Zakynthos or maybe in your island, whatever. Let's do it. Whatever, whoever comes in. I mean, like I'll tell you all the events that I do, like that World Mediators Conference that I did. The week that I had Ken Cloke's opening session, I hadn't got too much time, so I hadn't fixed up anyone, and suddenly we had 80 speakers. So people just come. Will be organic development of things that had happened. Yeah. So, but on neutrality, Gilbert, anything else on you want to?
No, I think I said my main proposals, but I always like to discuss this with others. So for me, mediation is something which is developing, and we are never out of this discussion. But I think it's very important to have an exchange under us on this.
But I'll tell you, Gilbert, that was the idea behind that, the World Mediation Circle, and like we're doing the Luxembourg Mediation Circle. So within that, we'll have discussions within the circle. Then we'll bring in people like we have the Greece Mediation Circle. So then we have a combined kind of a meeting online, and maybe we can plan offline also. And we have those discussions, so people ultimately can interact with people around the world. So you're part of the larger whole, but of course we have to do activities at the ground in the particular country. So it's a mix of both, that you're doing local, but you're actually part of global. And so those discussions you can take forward in your work in Luxembourg, but what your experiences go out into Greece. So Mandy is benefiting from your experience, and that's how the thing grows. And who was saying, basically, I think Greg was talking about the fact that mediators, because they're working on their own, they don't share their experiences. So this will be a good way for people to just share their experiences. And Mandy has something to say. Yes, Mandy, what are you saying?
I was very happy to meet Gilbert and have this beautiful conversation. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you. I was also very happy to meet you. And my message is there is not one mediation, and there is not one mediation practice.
Absolutely.
And the more we exchange, like Vikram said, the more we exchange, our range of possibilities gets bigger. And the benefits are for our clients, because when we have a bigger range and we can share more experiences, they will profit on this.
But I think what you nearly have to share the experience is how to become a patron. Because Mandy says, I went to patreon.com, I couldn't figure out how to do it. But Gilbert did it, Mandy. How come you could not do it? I think these are the experiences I need to share, because it'll benefit me. So
Yeah.
Because she went to patreon.com and she says, I could not figure out how to do it. And I could definitely have not been a patron for myself. So I don't know. But the fact that it should be simple, Mandy, this is what you see, don't you? When you open the page, what do you see? This is what you see? Or what do you see this? What happens? Is it I mean, when you see this, you can't just press the join and it doesn't do that. What happens? Mandy, you said you could not figure it out. You're on mute. You're on mute. Now she's gone on mute.
I will send you the screenshot. It is Patreon, not Patron, what I found, and it says 10 euros, dollars. Oh, maybe it's euros.
Because so this
And
was
that's
basically,
why
the link is there on my website. The link is there. So this is what it shows. Yeah. I should be easy. It should not be too much of a, because you'll find it. We'll figure it out. So Gilbert, thank you very much. Any closing remarks? Totally your wish. You want to give any closing remarks? You please do that. Otherwise, it's always a pleasure speaking to you. And of course,
also my concluding remarks is I just want to go on by exchanging experiences in a very simple way, because I'm coming out of school. You know, I'm a teacher. I was working with kids. I did mediation with kids, and I have a lot of experience in dealing with mediation, but in a very simple way, which does not mean that it is the real mediation as we understand it. And I think we often do over information. We have too much information. We are caring too much about forms and rules.
Yep.
And my message is, let's get simplified.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Absolutely. No, I think that's exactly what we have to work on. That's not, because ultimately what is happening, Gilbert, is that all these terminologies and everything basically will confuse the user. And we want people to use the process, not to give them theory.
And we have books like this, you see, and we have everything on our mind, and we forget to be present. Presence is the most important.
Absolutely. So, Amanda, you want to thank Gilbert, and then I can close the session?
Yes, I want to thank you both very much. And I want to say that what I keep after Gilbert's and Lightstone's, how it's Ellen's talk, is that it is important we have a simple photography, camera, a simple camera, and to have wide lens.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's also got involved in the photography and mediation. Okay, great. So perfect. Thank you very much. And of course, we'll have next 10 minutes. We have Michelle coming in. So let me just